banquet because it brings some spectacle, some show, some fun to the table.
You're going down, y'all. They up in the let's go together. 소리 높여, bam bam. 바로 지금 shout now.
Hello, I am Benjamin and we are on the Tasty Trail in Korea. Or more precisely, we are in Seoul, the capital. Seoul, which is a very old city since it has been founded in 1394. It makes 600 years or more of history, which means also 600 years of cuisine history. That's what we are going to discover today. These wonderful traditions of food in the Sadaemun and Sasomun area. It means the large and small gates of the Seoul fortress. Let's go in the back streets of Seoul to discover this wonderful heritage. Wow, isn't it gorgeous? We are here in the Changdeokgung, one of the World UNESCO Heritage, a private garden, a rear garden called Huwon, which was the private place garden for the kings. And also, the palace respected the natural side. It's part of the Joseon times philosophy of the landscape. The landscaping technique of that time respected the natural side. If there were hills or streams, they didn't erase or changed it. They kept it the same as it was. It is something quite different from what we find in, for example, the French or the Japanese garden philosophy. So that's why UNESCO decided to have this palace showing these special features on the World Heritage List. The meals of the king were called the sura, and the place where the king's food was prepared, the kitchen, was called the suragan, and that's where we are now. This is a suragan of the Changdeokgung, which has been built at the end of the 19th century in a Western style, as you can see with the tiles, and we have also a furnace and oven over there. The suragan is the place where the king's food was prepared, and it was then brought to the different pavilions where the king and his family used to live. This is a very important place because that's the place where the last court lady who was specialized in the royal cuisine, Han Hee-sun, worked for the last kings of the Joseon dynasty. 안녕하세요, 선생님.
네, 안녕하세요.
예.
네.
여기 보니까
예.
마지막 상궁
예.
사진인가 봐요.
한희순 상궁이죠.
예.
조선 왕조의 고종 순정을 모셨던 마지막 주방 상궁입니다.
마지막으로.
네, 네.
She was the last court lady who worked in the royal kitchen, and she was the last one to keep that knowledge. That is why in 1971 she became a 무형문화재, important, intangible cultural property. Until she died and passed the title to her disciple. 이분은
네,
바로
그 다음 때의 무형문화재인데
네.
바로 저희 이제 어머니시고요.
예.
또 한희순 상궁을 스승님으로 모시면서 그 방법을 전부 전수받아서
예.
무형문화재가 되셨죠.
바로 지금 선생님
예.
보유자 되셨죠.
네, 네.
예. And we should go inside of the restaurant with the professor who is going to explain us all the details and all that tradition.
네. 이제 궁중 잔치의 시작이라고 생각하시고요.
네.
처음 이제 잔을 올리거든요. 술 한 잔
네.
받으시고요.
예.
네. 자, 이렇게 해서 받으시고
예.
저도 한 잔 주세요.
알겠습니다.
여기에는 이제 진호, 미수 이렇게 써 있어요. 그게
네.
뭐냐면 음식 먹기 전에 앞부분에 나오는 그러니까 애피타이저부터 그러면 이거는 서양식으로 말하면 까나페식으로.
까나페 아니면 아페리티프리. 프랑스에서는 아페리티프 개념인가 봐요.
예, 그렇죠. 그러니까
예,
이제
재밌네요.
만났습니다 하고 하면서
예.
조그만 거를 이제 움직임을 갖는 거죠.
네.
예, 선생님 만났으니까 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다. 와우. Okay, let's start the luxury life like a king. So you see, it's quite interesting because we start with something I know very well. It's the aperitif concept. 선생님 이게 뭡니까?
이거는 육포를 소고기를 말린 거를 가루로 내서
예.
포를 해서 반죽을 해서 포다식이라고 그래요.
포다식.
네, 근데 하얀 거는
예.
잣하고 육포하고가 가장 이게 궁합이 맞는다 그러거든요. 그래서 먹기 쉽게 만든 겁니다.
Oh, that's very delicious. Today we are having a course, a dinner, which is a banquet dinner. It was important to have, beside the alcohol, a lot of different dishes to go with the alcohol. Yeah.
타이저로 입맛을 이렇게 돋궈주는
네.
그런 거거든요. 냉채인데 특별한 게 뭐냐면 이게 1650년도에 옛날 음식 책에 나온 걸
네.
재현을 했어요. 그래서 옛날에는 그 식품이 귀하기 때문에
네.
생선의 껍질도
네.
음식 재료로 썼거든요. 근데
네.
그게 쫀득쫀득한 질감이 좋잖아요. 그래서 그거를 거기 나온 걸 해가지고 배라든지 산뜻하게 해서 그 껍질하고 이렇게 해서
네.
냉채식으로 그렇게 만든 거예요.
Very fresh, very exquisite fresh. So it's fish skin. Oh, that's very nice, interesting. This one is a very special soup. You won't find in a Korean restaurant most of the time because it was only for the kings or the very rich people in the Joseon dynasty. It's a juk, a porridge, which is made with milk. Let's have a taste. Wow, it reminds me dishes I had in my childhood. It's absolutely delicious. It's soft and sweet, as would be a semolina soup, or exactly that's the semolina. I think of semolina.
네. 요건 이제 세 번째 에피타이저거든요.
예.
근데 요거를 이제 죽순채라고 그래요.
예.
죽순을 가지고 여러 가지를 넣어서 어떤 소스로 버무린 게 죽순채가 되는데, 그래서 이렇게 보시면 죽순이 이제 가운데 있고 여기에 그러니까 한국의 음식에 오행이라는 오방색이 다 들어갔어요. 흰색, 노란색, 빨간색, 초록색. 그래서 한국 사람들은 결국은 이 5색깔을 한 음식에서 다 먹는다는 거는 한 음식에서 영양을 고루 섭취한다 이런 얘기도 되죠. 그래서 여기에다 이제 맛을 낸다 그러면 요 홍시를 식초를 넣고
Vinegar,
예.
persimmon,
예, 단맛은 있고요.
and it makes a delicious sauce. It's sweeter, I would say, than what we have usually, but it's not too sweet. It's not overwhelming. Very good balance.
그러니까 음식이라는 거는 이렇게 입에서 매끄럽게 아까 타락수처럼 넘어가는 것도 있지만 이에서 아삭아삭하게 씹히는 그 질감을 즐기는 것도 있거든요. 그러니까 아까 부드럽게 넘어갔다 그러면 이 다음에는 아삭아삭하게 또 다른 맛을 또 주는 거죠. 그러니까 그 변화를 주면서 이것이 이제 코스가 나가는 거죠.
So that's exactly the principle we have in Korean food. You have to have a soft porridge with a red color, for example, side dish, and after that you have to have a crunchy texture. That's the differences which makes the beauty and the movement and the dynamic of it. Solo is a very famous hot pot
앞에.
served on the royal table.
이게 한국 음식은 약간 다 된 상태에서 이제 정적으로 흐르잖아요.
예.
조용히 흐르다가
예.
메인 요리에 들어가면은 이게 사실은 음식이라는 건 제가 생각하기에 이렇게 밑에서 착착착착 음악회나 이런 게 했을 때 연주를 하면서 어떤 클라이막스에 도달하면서 밑으로
네.
이렇게 떨어지는 드라마라고 생각을 해요. 그러면 이거는 최정점에 올라왔을 때 나가는 그냥
Climax.
환타식한 그럴까? 그럴
Very
때
good
나오는
comparison.
음식이죠. 그래서 이 신선로를 하면서 다시 이게 최고조에 달한 거예요. 막 즐겁게.
That's a good example of complexity. Positive complexity. A very rich taste. And as we see in Korean, we say 깊은 맛. It means deep, like deeply rooted and complex.
예.
Here I am on the Pugak Mountain, one of the 4 big mountains all around the old city of Seoul. On the Pugak Mountain you can see the fortress, the walls which were built in 1396, one of the first buildings to be erected all around Seoul and in Seoul when the king decided at the beginning of the Joseon dynasty to move its capital from present-day Kaesong in North Korea to the site of Seoul, which was then called Hanyang. That's a beautiful place because you have stunning view on the city and on the valleys all around. So really, if you come to Seoul, you have to visit this place, which is a pure wonder.
맛있는 빈대떡 먹으러 오세요.
Mung bean pancake?
It's really good.
Very good.
맛있는 비빔밥 잡수러 오세요. 사각주, 칡거리, 이거는 피를 맑게 해주는 부추, 서민들이 제일 좋아하는 콩나물.
It's really healthy. I like it.
광장시장 남도집으로 먹으러 오세요. 찹쌀, 당면, 땅콩, 호두, 선지, 양념 많이 들어가 있습니다.
We are in Bukchon. Bukchon is the North Village. The village or area which is between 2 palaces, the Gyeongbokgung and the Changdeokgung, and it's the place where many aristocrats and also royal court officials used to live. It's a place full of old traditional houses, the hanok, and also it's a place where a lot of old traditions have been preserved. That's why we came here to have a look at these wonderful traditions. So thank you for coming, Delphine.
It's my pleasure.
You know this area very well, the Bukchon, the village, the North Village, close
my
to the palace.
Favorite place in
Yeah.
Seoul.
It's a beautiful place with a lot of old houses, the hanok, and also a lot of handicraft, a lot of craftsmen. Yeah.
Which kind of handicraft?
Yeah, I think that's the place.
Art and craft
Yeah.
design.
Yes, Jongwon Sanba. Let's go in. So please.
Thank you.
It's the first time I see a hanok with so many wood carving work.
Yeah. Oh. Wow, the smell. Delphine.
So which kind of wood is it?
예, 무슨 나무 쓰십니까?
아, 여기는 취나무하고 금강송이 있기 때문에
예.
이렇게 오래된 집이지만 향기가 오랫동안 이렇게 나는 겁니다. 그래서 이쪽에는 이제 저희가 사랑방이라서요.
네.
여기는 이제 남성이 머무르는 곳이라서
예.
여기 문도 보시면은 이렇게 문이 이렇게 직선적으로
예.
이렇게 직선적으로 되어 있습니다. 여기.
예.
네. 여기는 이게 여성이 머무르는 곳이라서요. 문살이
This place is the Anche, the female quarters.
예, 더 곡선적이고요.
Oh, so he made a pattern which is more feminine, more rounder. Ah, 그렇구나. And I love the lights. You know, the lights in a Korean house is beautiful because of the windows and all this paper on the windows.
And you have two different layers, no? Here?
The game of the light on the wood patterns and the paper makes something very aesthetical, very poetic.
안주인이 살면 여기 안방이기 때문에 살면서 누가 왔는가를 이렇게 살짝
와우.
Is it a traditional device? Or?
이거는 전통적인 겁니까?
전통적인 한국의 눈곱재기 문입니다.
아, 그래요?
네, 전통적인 문입니다.
Ah, yeah, traditional one. Yeah.
They're very curious.
They are very curious and they want to check who is coming to visit the master. So it's a way to have an eye on what the men are doing.
나무의 움직임 이런 걸 많이
Wow.
A very modern kitchen. Huh?
Very modern kitchen. Wow, that's so cute with the bamboo in the back. Now we are going to an institute specialized in rice cakes, in Korean pastries and cakes, and it's a place which is run by a very famous lady. She is also, how do you call it in English? Intangible cultural property holder. Muyeong Munwaji in Korean, and she specialized in Chosun dynasty food court food, but in the specialization of the cakes, especially.
Any cake?
Korean cakes, yes, traditional. 선생님, 그 한국 떡하고 과자 특징이 뭘까요?
서양 거랑 비교한다 그러면
예.
우리는 쌀가루를 이용한다는 거예요.
그렇죠.
네,
예.
쌀가루를 이용한다는 그런 특징이 있고,
예.
그다음에 떡의 종류 분류를 해보면
네.
시루에다 하는 시루떡이 있고요.
예.
그다음에 이렇게 기름에 지지는 유전병이라는 게 있고,
예.
그다음에 시루에 찌지만 그거를 매우 쳐서
예.
쫀득쫀득하게 하는 가래떡이라든지
예.
아니면 뭐 절편이라든지 인절미라든지 그런 종류가 있고,
예.
또 하나는 예쁘게 빚어서 하는 떡, 그러니까
네.
빚어서 송편이라든지 이런 종류가 있는데,
예.
지금 우리나라의 떡의 종류를 보통 350가지로 생각을 해요.
350.
네.
350 kinds of rice cakes in Korea. So it's like the cheese in France. 아, 선생님 지금 뭘 준비하시겠습니까?
떡인데요. 떡
예.
중에서 주악이라는 건데,
네.
개성이라는 지방에서 하던 주악하고 서울이라는, 그러니까 궁중에서 서울
예.
조선시대의 궁중에서 하던 주악 두 가지로
두 가지요.
만들어 볼 거예요.
Let's try this one first.
배추 주악,
감사합니다.
네. 카레 주악, 치자주.
Is it hot?
네.
Good. With the cinnamon, a chewy texture. And I'm surprised because it's not too oily, it's not too greasy.
No, because of this syrup.
And I think that the glutinous rice actually doesn't really absorb the oil. That's the
possible.
difference with the milkaru, with the wheat flour. Wheat
That's
flour
possible.
will absorb.
Absorb
That's why
the
the
oil.
donuts are kind of heavy.
Are quite heavy.
But
Yes.
this one are
That's the mango
lighter.
one.
좋아요.
좋아요.
질감도. It's like crispy and chewy at the same time.
And this one seems to be the best.
It's interesting. I like this one as well.
And it's very sweet. Because of the makgeolli, is it?
Maybe, yeah.
천천히 드셔요.
맛있으니까. So that's the place, Daphne, I wanted to visit today.
I know this place, Benjamin.
You know?
Yes, for once.
How do you know it?
Because I went here with my Korean teacher.
Uh-huh.
You know, the lady who is staying here is an expert in the mother of pearl handicraft.
That's why we have here some oysters.
Exactly.
Mother of pearl.
And she does also lacquerware and
Lacquerware.
wood carving.
Okay, let's see inside what she's doing. 선생님 작품인가요?
네.
네. 조금 설명 해석해 주시겠어요?
네, 우리나라 동양은 자연하고 사람하고 이렇게 같이 동화에서 생활하잖아요.
네.
정복하거나 차지하는 게 아니고. 그래서 이 오칠도 자연에서 나온 거고 소재도 자연을 담고 지금 이 나전을 보면 그 무엇보다도 광택하고 상당히 아름다워요.
She works with this background of only one color, which is the black color of the lacquer, as what we call in Korean yobek, which is the background of a painting. And as you know, in Oriental painting, the background is empty. There is nothing, and you use this emptiness to build your painting. You know, usually it's, of course, it's a white background, whereas in Western painting, we try to fill up the background with colors and with, not always, of course it's much more complicated than that, but to simplify, we make exactly the opposite. The background has to be filled up with colors to give the impression of deep depth and also of dimensions. And in Korean art, we do exactly the opposite. We work with the empty background. So here it's a black background. So that's the I would say the ground of this work.
우리 밥 먹고 합시다.
그럴까요? 실례인데요, 어떻게?
한국의 정서가
She wants us to share our dinner. That's so nice.
손님이 오면
I think it's a good experience to have, like, you know, usually we go to restaurants, but I think that sharing real food in someone's house,
especially with Sangsemin,
and with the Sangsemin,
it's a big honor.
yeah, that's a big honor. 영광스럽습니다.
보통집 가정식 백반.
Oh, that's the best. That's exactly what I wanted to show.
해분이 기도도 끝났으니까 맛있게 먹읍시다.
고맙습니다. 맛있게 먹겠습니다. Okay, let's enjoy the food. So you see, it's the traditional everyday meal, I would say. I would say in Korean food, which is a soup, the rice, and the banchan. It means the side dishes to go with the rice, banchan. And we have the very traditional kimchi, bechu kimchi, which is made with the cabbage. And we have here the perilla leaves, what we call in Korean kennip, changaji. The jeon is a kind of small pancake made with different vegetables.
Sesame oil,
And this one is spinach, which have been blanched and mixed with seasonings.
It's my favorite.
Your favorite? Okay, perfect.
Do you know especially this food is egg, fish's egg?
Fish roll, fish eggs.
I don't know it.
It's very expensive one.
Yeah, and it's very good.
Like the caviar.
Like the caviar, exactly. And I'm happy to show this kind of meal because if you come to Korea, if you have the chance to, why not come to this place? I can give you the address later. And enjoy this everyday Korean meal with everyday people. That's the best experience you can have because it's like everywhere, you would tell me. And I think that's simple and delicious. And simplicity is sometimes the most difficult to achieve.
매끼 사 먹는 사람들은 일부러 와. 이 밥 먹으려고. 사 먹는 거 싫으니까.
Today we enjoyed the tradition of the court food in Seoul. This is the aristocratic tradition of Seoul. But of course, if you come to a city like Seoul, you have many more things to discover. There is a lot of cuisine traditions coming from the different provinces of the country. because we are in a capital. So if you come to Seoul, don't think you have to be a king to enjoy the food, and try to find the restaurants or the kind of food that fits you, because there is a lot to discover. Now it's time to say goodbye, so we'll see more in our next Tasty Trail in Korea with Benjamin. Bye bye, bonsoir.